We have breaking news on a massive medical suspension for Islam Makhachev, a life-threatening hospital scare for a UFC prospect, and Alexander Volkanovski officially addressing his retirement plans. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on daily MMA updates.
It's good. These small things. It's part of this sport. I have small injury right now. It's I cut my half ligament, and we'll see. Next 10 days I have to wear these things, and doctor will make decision.
We kick things off with breaking news out of Pennsylvania, as the UFC 330 medical suspensions have just dropped, and the welterweight champion is officially sidelined. Officially confirmed by the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission, Islam Makhachev has been handed a mandatory 30-day medical suspension following his unanimous decision victory over Ian Machado Gary. The suspension stems directly from a rib injury sustained during the 5-round war, pausing all of his full-contact training and any immediate grappling camps for the next month. After securing his historic 17th consecutive UFC victory, rumors swirled that Makhachev was dealing with compromised ribs leading into the event. While Ian Gary walked away with absolutely no medical suspension from the commission, the champion will be forced to rest. Makhachev's team hasn't issued a formal public statement on the exact severity, but backstage rumors suggest it could be bruised or slightly fractured ribs. Regardless, Islam's historic run at welterweight is now on a temporary freeze, just as contenders were lining up to challenge him. The MMA community is buzzing over the sheer toughness of the Dagestani champion. Former double champ Daniel Cormier weighed in, stating, "Islam fought 5 rounds with a busted rib against a highly touted, explosive striker and still dominated the pace. That's exactly why he's the pound-for-pound number 1. Meanwhile, fans on X are calling out the visual disparity, with one user noting, "Gary took no damage but still lost every single round to a one-armed Islam." Levels to this game. Does this rib injury delay Makhachev's next title defense? And who should he fight next when he is fully healed? Let us know down below.
UFC fighter Danny Silva just posted that he was hospitalized and may have fought his last ever MMA fight. What is going on today? Danny Silva posted that it may have been his last dance in MMA as he all of a sudden had to get rushed to the hospital. He thought he had a rib out and pushed through it like every other fighter does, saying the same night that he went for a run at 8 p.m., did 3 miles, and on the 3rd mile his body shut down, and that he pushed because he wouldn't quit on himself and that 3 miles should be nothing. Then he got home and there was swelling on his neck and pec on the left side. Got recommended to go to the ER by a good doctor friend, trying to make sure that he wasn't having a heart attack. And after 9 hours in the ER, they discovered that he had multiple blood clots and that he was dealing with a massive thrombosis. And this is something that the doctors told him that only 50% of people survive from. Thankfully, Silva was discharged from the hospital and he's recovering on medication right now, but he is uncertain about his fighting career continuing. He was booked in an absolute instant classic against Marcio Barbosa in Sacramento, and that is no longer taking place. Been one of the sickest fights we would have had on that card, and unfortunately Silva's not able to make it. Wishing Danny Silva nothing but the best of health. Hopefully everything goes well, and I would love for him to come back to fighting, but health is the absolute number 1 most important thing. Thankfully he survived. Thankfully he overcame something that most people do not. The more entertaining fighters in the UFC, hopefully this man can get back to where he wants to, and hopefully everything goes well.
Moving on to a truly terrifying situation. A rising UFC featherweight prospect was just rushed to the emergency room, fighting for his life in what could have been a tragic outcome. Reported by multiple outlets including Sherdog this week, 29-year-old Danny Silva was hospitalized after suffering a severe, life-threatening blood clot. Silva initially pushed through intense pain in his ribs and neck during training, only to be diagnosed with multiple blood clots and a pulmonary embolism after a grueling 9-hour ER visit and emergency CT scans. Silva took to his official social media to reveal just how close he came to disaster. He wrote, "2 weeks ago I thought I had a rib out. I pushed through like every fighter does. Because I'm in such good shape, I was able to survive. They told me 50% of people don't make it." The MMA community instantly rallied, setting up a GoFundMe campaign organized by his close friend to cover his staggering medical bills, which has already crossed its $9,000 target in just a matter of days. Fellow UFC fighters have poured in their financial and emotional support. Welterweight contender Uros Medic donated $500 directly, publicly stating, "We leave it all in the gym. but health comes first. Get well soon, brother. Hardcore fans on Reddit expressed absolute shock at his resilience, with one writing, "Fighters are built way too tough for their own good. Thank God he actually listened to his friend and went to the hospital before that clot did permanent damage." Will we see Danny Silva make a triumphant return to the octagon after this massive health scare? Sound off in the comments. Next up, let's take a look at Alexander Volkanovski, who just dropped a massive bombshell regarding his fighting future ahead of his highly anticipated return at UFC 333 at 37 years old and gearing up for a monster featherweight title defense against the undefeated Movsar Evloev on October 24th. The Great has officially addressed the retirement elephant in the room. Speaking directly to 10 News in Australia, Volkanovski admitted his future inside the octagon hinges entirely on how this upcoming championship fight plays out. Volkanovski didn't mince words about his timeline, stating, "If things go terribly wrong, all right, we're done. If things go very well, like the last one, no damage, go through. All right, we'll keep it rolling." This marks the very first time the featherweight king has openly put a hard condition on hanging up the gloves, confirming that he is now taking this second title reign on a strict, fight-by-fight basis as he approaches 38 years of age. Pros and analysts are already weighing in on the champion's transparency. Chael Sonnen discussed the comments on his YouTube channel, warning, when a dominant champion starts talking about the exit door, they usually already have one foot out. However, the hardcore fans remain incredibly loyal to the Aussie. A top Reddit comment read, "Volk just beat Diego Lopez twice to get his belt back. He's not declining. He's just being a realistic veteran about his age and miles." Do you think the undefeated Movsar Evloev will be the man to retire Alexander Volkanovski? Drop your predictions below.
I'm here with the winner and still, Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie, you win this fight against a girl who had said a lot of things about submission.
And speaking of backstage drama, the bizarre situation surrounding veteran coach Din Thomas has just taken a wild and completely unexpected turn. According to breaking reports from Low Kick MMA, Din Thomas is already attempting to reverse his highly controversial corner retirement, just days after abruptly walking away. Thomas initially stepped down and announced he was done cornering fighters following his longtime pupil Gillian Robertson's unanimous decision loss to Mackenzie Dern at UFC 330 in Philadelphia. The sudden exit completely baffled the MMA world, with many media members accusing Thomas of abandoning his fighter immediately after a devastating title fight loss. Now, rumors are circulating that severe public backlash forced his hand to walk the comments back. Former UFC heavyweight Brendan Schaub attempted to defend the initial move on his podcast, arguing, Din Thomas did Gillian Robertson a massive favor by turning her into a legit star, suggesting a gym split was naturally necessary for her evolution anyway. The MMA community, however, isn't buying the sudden U-turn. Fans on X blasted the veteran coach, with one viral post stating, "You don't just quit on your fighter in the locker room when they are at their lowest, and then walk it back on a Tuesday." Another fan heavily criticized the dynamic, adding, "Just feels personal against Gillian. She deserves a corner that stays fiercely loyal through both the historic wins and the brutal losses." Should Gillian Robertson take Din Thomas back into her corner, or is it finally time for her to find a brand new gym? Let us know your thoughts.
Yes, boss.
Watch behind you guys. Congrats, brother.
On the flip side, we have major regulatory drama unfolding today, as the Nevada State Athletic Commission brings the financial hammer down on two of the UFC's absolute biggest superstars. First reported by Middle Easy and MMA Mania, the NSAC is officially holding disciplinary hearings to withhold the massive UFC 329 fight purses for both Max Holloway and Paddy Pimblett. The extreme disciplinary action stems from both men scaling and climbing the top of the octagon fence while celebrating their respective victories, strictly violating an old commission safety rule. This specific rule has rarely been enforced to this financial extreme, but the NCC is making an example out of the massive pay-per-view stars. Pimblett's management team is absolutely furious behind the scenes. They released a scathing statement blasting the commission, stating, "This rule needs to be changed immediately. Punishing fighters financially for celebrating a career-defining win with the fans is completely ridiculous and completely out of touch with the modern sport." The global fanbase is entirely siding with the fighters on this controversy. UFC veteran Matt Brown chimed in on social media, heavily criticizing the move. The commission just wants a piece of the pie. Nobody gets hurt climbing a damn cage. Fans on Reddit strongly echoed the exact same sentiment, with the top comment reading, "Imagine risking your life in a literal cage fight, and the state steals your multi-million-dollar paycheck because you sat on a fence. Absolute robbery. Is the athletic commission justified in holding their hard-earned purses, or is this rule completely outdated? Tell us what you think in the comments." That wraps up today's biggest MMA stories. But before we go, let's take a look at the top comments from our last video regarding Khamzat Chimaev moving to light heavyweight to fight Paulo Costa. User MMAJunkie99 said, "Khamzat struggling to make 185 means 205 is his only real future. Costa is a massive test for that." And user Fight Fanatic added, "Kamaru Usman is right. Khamzat needs to leave middleweight alone and chase the big boys." If you want to be featured in our next video, make sure to drop a comment below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the MMA Zone, and we will see you guys in the next one.